Hello, I'm Doug, and this is the Taste and Sensibility channel. And today on Fresh Cheese, number 10, we are looking at halloumi from the island of Cyprus in the Mediterranean Sea. This cheese is a little different than the rest of them in terms of texture, in terms of how much moisture, in terms of salt. But I've tested it quite a bit and it's delicious and a little squeaky. So before we get into all these tastes, if you like the reviews that you're seeing here, give the video a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, leave a question, subscribe to the channel. And if you want to get notified when the new videos come out on Mondays and Thursdays, click that bell icon and you will hear about these as soon as they pop up. So halloumi is, I've got 3 different brands here and they're all made on Cyprus. So they're all originating over there. One of them is made, well, let's see, the brands here are Aphrodite, it's made from sheep and goat milk. And then I have Mount Vikos over here, which is just made from sheep's milk. And then I have Kinthos, or Kinthos, I don't know how I'm going to look it up. And this is made from cow, goat, and sheep milk. And then one piece of the Kinthos I grilled, and it stayed together pretty much. It split down the middle. There's lots of interesting fissures that happen in these cheeses. They're put together from curds, and when you slice them, sometimes they fall apart and break apart along those curd boundaries. So that will probably happen when we slice some of these up. So this cheese is used in the cooking of that region, all over the Mediterranean. It doesn't really melt much when you fry it or grill it. It held up to the heat very well, so you can see the grill lines here on this piece. But we're going to try these plain and then on some crackers and see what this stuff is like. So this is the Aphrodite, which is made from 2 kinds of milk. Milk of 2 animals. Look, there's one of those breaks along the curd, along the lines between the curds. This is a tough, chewy consistency, or a tough, squeaky consistency. Firmer. And salty as all get out. I like it. It's squeaking. Interesting texture, good flavor from the salt and the cream. And there's just a hint of the animal-y nature, so one squeak goes goat, one squeak goes sheep, goat, sheep, goat, sheep. But it's just a very plain dairy taste. The salt makes it stand out. It's squeaking good now. So Aphrodite brand is very tasty. Has good texture, good properties. But I'm going to put this on a cracker. This would be pretty welcome at a hors d'oeuvre or cheese and cracker plate. So the saltiness of the cheese is cut somewhat by the graininess of the crackers, even though crackers are salted as well. Okay, I'm going to move on to the Kinthos cheese. I'll taste the room temperature ungrilled one. See a little bit of moisture dripping off the bottom of the piece. Not quite as salty. Not quite as firm. and then has been packed with some sort of herb. Mint leaves or basil. I don't know what the herb would be. I've heard mint, but it's packed with tiny little bits of mint leaves, and that vegetal note is coming through, even though it's only on the outside. I can taste it right now, just eating these little pieces. These small slices have that little vegetal note from just being packed with that for a few weeks. Very good. So individual differences between this Kinthos and the Aphrodite are small in terms of salty or texture, but overall they end up with a whole different vibe to the cheese. And I'm trying to cut a piece of the grilled halloumi. Let's see how it's gonna be different or similar. Picked up some smokiness from the grill. And the texture changed a little bit. I may have driven out some moisture and dried it a little bit. Very squeaky. This cheese was not squeaky when I ate it, but the grilled version is. So, interesting. I'm going to get a multi-grain cracker and put the grilled halloumi on that. Ooh, lots of salt in there between the cracker and the cheese, and lots of textures. The squeaky cheese and the crunchy cracker. It's lots of things going on in my mouth, but they're all good. So I like the Kinthos, both grilled and plain. Now, I'll be moving on to the Monteficos, which is one of the recommended brands by Liz Thorpe, who wrote this book of cheese that I've been using as my guide. In her world, we are only exploring the mozzarella gateway right now with these fresh cheeses that are high moisture and rineless, unaged. So she calls it the mozzarella gateway, but I've been calling it fresh cheeses to be a little more descriptive. So this cheese seems a little bit tougher to cut through. We'll see how squeaky it is. Wow, salty. Very firm texture. I'm going to put it on the edge of this cracker. The saltiness of the cheese is a huge contrast to the mostly lack of salt in the flatbread. So I'm curious to see what kind of dishes this ends up in the Middle Eastern cooking. So this is one of my favorites so far due to the saltiness and the texture. Every aspect of it's very interesting and keeps me coming back for more. So this would certainly work on a cheese tray or a platter where you pair it with fruit, crackers, breads, things like that, as well as the maybe some of the more traditional cooking uses of these from that Mediterranean region. I don't have any more pairings or fruit or anything else to put these with, but I found them all interesting. The brands are slightly different, but overall the character is about the same from each, and they're all high quality. You don't really notice the high fat level of the sheep milk. You don't really notice any goatiness or gaminess. from these cheeses, even though they contain some goat milk. So these are all strong recommends. And I'll have some links to Liz's book down below. I'll have some links to each of these manufacturers and their websites. And we're going to be taking a little break after this one because on December 1st, we start in with the Whiskey Advent Calendar from 2019. So I will be tasting these very small samples of these world whiskeys from the calendar blind without knowing what they are. And try to put together a flavor profile and suggest what it is. And then I'll look at the label and find out how wrong I am. So that's what's coming up next. And all through December up to through the 24th. Then we'll move back over to the fresh cheeses and complete the series. So that's what's coming up, but that's all for now.